Hello and welcome to the reading module of the Learning Disabilities Track course SPD 4400. In this short video, we'll go through the structure of this module and the requirements so you can orient yourselves about what you have to do and how. This course is structured in parts, as you've already heard, and in the first part, there is an introduction, which hopefully for most of you will actually be a review of material you've already seen, going through some basic concepts about reading and its development. So a brief introduction of the very basics. You should be clear that you have covered this material very well before we move on to the second part, in which we will go into a little bit more depth into reading development, normal reading development, problems with reading development, and reading difficulties, either of the dyslexia type or with comprehension. And we will cover all these things from a mostly theoretical perspective so that you are prepared for spring, where you will go into the more practical aspects of assessment and remediation of reading difficulties. This year, we are setting up the course to be completely online, and in fact, we will be using a flipped classroom approach. This means that you will first do the studying, you will read the textbook material, you will watch some recorded mini lectures, you will test yourself and identify any difficulties and problems. Then you will do the homework. Then you will come to the interactive session where we can discuss any remaining issues, work through problems together, go through some activities, and so on. We will also be using a completely digital approach, meaning everything is online. The materials are online, the videos, the testing, and the interactive sessions will take place via Zoom. So what exactly are you expected to do each week? First of all, you will have to read the assigned chapters or papers as noted in the specific page for that week, and also watch the recorded videos that are posted in that week. You can go back and forth until you're comfortable with this material. Once you are done reading and watching the videos, you can take the quiz or quizzes for that week and check your performance. If there are any issues that aren't yet clear, which have led you to not choose the right answer, or to not understand why the incorrect options are not the right answer, then you should go back and study the materials to try and solve these problems. If you have questions, you can post them on the Canvas discussion area or make a note of them to bring to the interactive session. When you're comfortable that you understand the material of this week, you should do the homework assignment for that week. And then you are prepared to come to the interactive session where we will discuss challenging issues. We may go through homework or other activities together and try to resolve any problems that may have come up during your study. After that, you are expected to go back to the readings and consolidate your learning by repeating and filling in any gaps or weak spots that have been identified. It's very important that you attend the interactive session well prepared. This means it will be assumed you have already studied all the materials for that week already before coming to the interactive session. There is not going to be a lecture in the interactive session, and there is not going to be a repetition of the same basic materials that are already posted and assigned. You should write down, post to the discussion area on Canvas, and bring your questions to the interactive session for discussion if they haven't already been answered online. You should do all the quizzes once or twice before the interactive session. So the first time will be completely diagnostic to see how much you understood. And then you read again, as I showed in the previous slide, and then you come back and do the quiz a second time, and then you leave it at that. So I can check the quiz responses before the interactive session and identify the most challenging issues to take up for further explanation or specific activities to work on them. Then you can do the quizzes once more after the interactive session and further study until you can answer everything perfectly, indicating your good understanding of the material. In this course, we will be using Canvas a lot. Everything will be laid out on Canvas. There will be a specified progression of topics and materials for this module that lets you build the necessary foundations for moving on. So you should follow this progression and work through the materials in the order they are assigned. Please use the reading Q&A discussion area to post questions and also your own answers, suggestions for answers, follow-up discussions, and so on. I will be monitoring this area and answering questions and also taking up issues to work on in the interactive session. Use the quizzes to test yourself and find what you need to work on. This is the homepage for this course on Canvas. And if you click on Läse och skrivevansker, you get to the overview page for the reading module where everything is explained and introduced. So you can read here everything you have to do to successfully complete the reading module. If you click on modules, you will see the progression of topics and tests that will be posted soon on this page for you to follow one topic every week. To successfully complete this module, you will have to answer all the quizzes, although they do not affect your grade. Do all the homework. The homework assignments themselves do not affect the grade, but in the end, you will have to put all your homework assignments together and submit them as part of the obligatory work assignment right after the exam. It will work much better if you do them at the week they're assigned, and in this way you will be able to receive feedback on your work, either personalized or in the group interactive session. So right after the exam, you will have to submit that, and this is an obligatory requirement that has to be passed in order to pass the course. This is a formal obligation, in contrast to the quizzes and the weekly homework, which are not a formal obligation, but you're well advised to do, indeed, in time before each interactive session in order to get the most out of this course. And of course, in the end, you will have to take your written exam. One of the parts in the exam will concern reading. You will do this exam digitally on Inspera, and probably this has to happen from home this year due to the COVID situation, and we don't really know all the details yet. We will follow the guidelines that are decided by the university and the faculty. So to sum up, follow the progression on Canvas. Do not skip anything. Repeat the material. Read and reread and watch the videos until you're confident. Work through all quizzes and homework assignments. Be systematic and persistent. Come well prepared to the interactive sessions. This doesn't mean come knowing everything. It means come knowing what you need to work on so we can discuss and resolve any issues in weak areas. Post your questions on Canvas and the discussion area and follow up the discussions there to help everyone and yourself understand the material. Good luck with the course.